my name is Peter Neidal, and I'm leading this World Delirium Awareness Day, Delirium Prevalence Day on March 15, 2023, together with Heidi Lindroth from the United States and Kai-Bun Liu from Australia and Japan. Today, I will introduce you how to perform data assessment and perform the data entry. You know the website of the study, WDAD-Study.Center. There you will find all files you will need to perform the prevalence study. First, there are two ways to answer the survey. First is do it online on the prevalence day using SurveyMonkey. You will all get a link for SurveyMonkey. This is feasible if you know all delirium data about the processes, structures, barriers on your ICU or ward, and if you know the delirium rates of your patients. Be aware you have to complete the data entry in one session. You cannot pause or interrupt the data entry and come back next day. Then you have to start from the beginning. The survey takes around about 15 minutes to complete without patient data, but we are collecting anonymous data, so it's not much time. Otherwise, the second option would be to use the printed questionnaire, collect data in advance, and transfer the data to the online survey on March 15th. For this, you will need the PDF from the website for data collection. Before the prevalence day, you can start with a questionnaire and collect data for barriers, structures, protocols, and others. And during the prevalence day, you use the data collection form for the delirium rate, and then you put in all these data in one session in SurveyMonkey. So I would recommend to use the second option. You go to the documents section, and here you are downloading the data collection form and the complete survey as PDF. There are several translations in different languages available, like Italian, Japanese, German, Spanish, Portuguese, and Dutch will come too. Here is an overview about all questions we are asking during the survey. These are socio-demographic data, hospital data, unit ward data, structures, processes, and so on. And most questions can be answered a few days before the prevalence day, because these factors like hospital size and so on do not change within days before the survey. And you can use this questionnaire in your own language, print it on paper, and answer the questions marked in the red square on the right and left side. And of course, keep the paper questionnaire safe till the prevalence day. So you can also use this several questionnaires for several wards or ICUs if you perform the survey on more than one ICU or ward. Then you use the data collection form. This is a one-page data collection form. In the middle, you see here the delirium prevalence data, and below a list of all professions who were likely present during the prevalence day. First, delirium data. We're just collecting anonymous patient data. We are not collecting single patient data such as names or comorbidities, age, and so on. We are just asking how many patients were present on the day. Oh, I'm sorry. If you collecting data on more than one unit, you may put in the ward number or unit number, just not to confuse your own assessment. Then we are asking for data on 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the evening. Well, as a clinician, physician, or nurse, you may know the delirium state of your patients. Otherwise, you can perform a chart review and look who was delirious and who was not delirious. First, we are asking how many patients were present on the ward or unit at 8 o'clock in the morning. That, for example, can be 12. Then we're asking how many patients were assessed for delirium. 2 patients are missing because they were to an examination or for an operation or whatever. They were not present on this time point. How many patients were assessed positive for delirium using the above reported assessments? Some pages above, we are asking what valid assessment do you use? And we will compare this later for units who are using a valid assessments such as CAM, ICU, ICD-SC, 4AT, and things like that. Or even you can use a non-valid assessment or personal estimation who was delirious or not. Anyway, not depending on what assessment you use, put in the number of how many patients were delirious using your own assessments. How many patients were not delirious? Again, some patients are hopefully not delirious. And how many patients were not accessible or unclear for due to deep sedation, coma, or having severe dementia, and was not clear as delirium or dementia or both unclear. In summary, 3 delirious patients, 5 non-delirious, 2 unclear must sum up to all patients who were assessed. And above, there can be more patients present on the ward or unit. And you repeat the same things, the same numbers for the evening. Of course, there may be some light changes due to patients who were discharged, whatever. Just put in the same numbers, similar numbers as you assessed in the evening. And then in the evening, you tick on all professions who were present on your ward or unit during the day. For example, nurses, nutritionists, occupational therapists, physicians, and so on. Of course, these are very general terms in nurses and physicians, which include all subgroups. For example, nurses are registered nurses, ANPs, nurse students. Physicians can be residents, consultants, students, and so on and so on. Click on all professions who apply, and also if others play therapists, for example, on a pediatric ward, can be an additional profession. We are not asking for nurse-patient ratios because this is very difficult, and change from the morning to the evening makes it very, very complicated. We just want to know which profession was present during the prevalence day. To be clear, this is just a chart review of routine data. Do not perform any new or additional assessments. Use your routine data. In case, again, there is no assessment, instead of CAM, ICU, 4AT, ACD-SC, and others, you can include this unit or ward. We will perform sub-analysis for units with and without assessments, and will compare types of barriers. Are they different between those wards and ICUs and so on? The time points should be 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the evening, plus minus 4 hours. This is a large time frame, of course. We are doing this because some clinicians might have a night shift working till 7 o'clock in the morning, and they should assess patients for 8 o'clock in the morning. They should not wait for another hour, but they can collect data, of course, and then go home and sleep well, I hope. Some clinicians might work till 4 o'clock in the evening or afternoon, and they should not wait till 8 o'clock in the evening. So, and then they collect data at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But of course, this is a compromise. Be as close as possible to 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the evening. And if only one assessment is feasible, for example, 8 o'clock in the morning, it's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. We will report the data for these cases. For example, if only assessment in the morning or evening is feasible versus both times. And then we will collect and report delirium data. So it would be best 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the evening for both times. But if it's not feasible, don't make it complicated, then just report the numbers for these time points, right? Thank you. Again, here's the overview. It takes 50 minutes to answer all questions in our pre-tests, plus the patient's data, but of course, you know your numbers. Yeah. On March 15, you will receive a link to the survey on SurveyMonkey or visit the website of the study. Enter all the data for the questionnaire into the online survey. And if you collect data for another ward or ICU, you have to put in all data from socio-demographic data, hospital data, and others again, because we're not using any cookies. You've got 4 days for doing that. The survey will close after March 19th. Then we cannot take any new data. Okay. This survey. Later in our analysis, we will have an SPSS file, and in each row represents one ward or unit with hopefully many rows. But are sub-analyses feasible? For example, one participant collected data for a hospital organization, 12 different hospitals in 10 different cities in 2 countries, Switzerland and Austria, for example, and wants to know his or her own delirium rate in this hospital organization. This is feasible if you have a personal code. And the last question in the survey is for a personal code. If you want to perform such a sub-analysis, send me an email in advance. I will send you an individual code, and you have to enter in each ward or unit questionnaire this single code. And later on, we can identify your wards by searching for this special code. So send me in advance request, and I will answer with a code. And you can also, another option, if you put in your name in the acknowledgements, I can also look for your name, search for your name, and then I can identify your wards and units and send to you the SPSS file. We will not perform sub-analysis for you, but we can send an SPSS or an Excel file to you with your own wards and units and the data you entered. This is possible. And sub-analysis by country are always feasible because we're asking for country. And another question is, can you reach co-authorship if you collected more than 100 patients? Of course, I'm not aware of any units or wards with more than 100 patients. You need several units for them to reach the level of more than 100 patients. For this, you have to enter your name in each ward or unit data you put in the survey. And then we can look for your name. And again, we can count your patient numbers and see if you reached more than 100 or not. So this can be very important if you want to be a co-author for this study. Authorship, here are the rules. Kai-Bun Liu and Heidi Lindroth are first co-authors. Me, Peter, I'm a senior or last author. The first wave of national collaborators, around 12 or 16, are named as co-authors in the title, and all others who collect more than 100 patients have a group co-authorship. National collaborators and participants both have to collect more than 100 patients, and then you are PubMed listed, but your name is not in the title of the paper. We will name this as WDAD-Study Group. Yeah, and all who collect equal or less than 100 patients will receive an acknowledgements, collaborators and participants, if you put in your name in this section, acknowledgements. Okay, so it's a little bit challenging, but we hope that you will do it. For example, if you collect data on 2 or 3 ICUs and 2 or 3 general wards in your hospital, which is feasible, and then you easily collect co-authorship. Here again is the overview about the survey, and if you've got any more questions, please send me an email, which is below, peter@nidal.de, and I hope you will have fun during the Prevalence Day. If you want, join our virtual online meetings where we explain the survey, ask for more questions and answer questions, and think